Good morning and welcome to another edition of Royal Majesty Talk. I'm your host, Royal Majesty Funsho Timothy. This morning we're going to talk about the issue of marriage here in diaspora. Marriage is a great thing, especially when you happily married and love and all kind of stuff. But today we find that the most of divorces that happens in most homes happen because of finances. But what we really don't look at is the really underlying factor among that. And that's the issue mothers-in-law play in these dissolving homes and creating chaos in most homes. I'm talking about mothers-in-law and both the husband and the wives. The roles they play today in the diaspora, it's really, really uncanny. And then, you find that in most homes now, mothers-in-law have played the role of wives. You see wives calling the mothers, hey, mommy, pick up my son. Mommy, can you give me some food? Mommy, can you cook me this? Mothers are now become de facto husbands. I know I'm going to get bashed for this because I'm going to say, people are going to say, why am I criticizing mothers-in-law of the wives? But that's the truth. You go to most homes today, you find mothers of the wives staying there than the mothers of the husbands. These mothers of the wife destroyed most homes, not here in diaspora, but all over the world. And if you really believe that, if you don't believe what I'm saying today, well, let me ask a question. Mr. Wife, where is your husband? All right, guys, we have two guys here to meet this morning that want to talk about something, this topic. And hopefully, we can have a resounding topic to talk about, something that we can all share about. Today, I have with me from the state of Texas, Mr. Ayo. Ayo, welcome to the show, Mr. Ayo.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
And as usual, Mr. Muniru is there with me again. Mr. Muniru, welcome to the show.
Thank you, King.
All right. Now, you've all asked me, you've always listened to my monologue about the roles mother-in-law played in most homes. And let me first ask you, Mr. Ayo, are you a married man?
Yes,
Okay. So would you welcome the idea of your mother-in-law staying with you?
yes. I mean, I would, and again, it all depends on the circumstance that surrounds that situation. But yes, I would. Is I would talk about a permanent stay. I would talk about a temporary stay. It all depends, right? But again, I think the biggest factor is as a man in the house, right? You still, I think communication is key, and you know, it all depends on what's best for the household. Looking at things from both ways, right? So that decision shouldn't be a sole decision where, say, a man has a wife, and then the mother-in-law wants to come to stay for a while or for a long time. I think this is something both partners have to sit down and talk about and look at the pros and cons and why that is happening. That way, there's no surprises, or when something happens, you guys can resolve that amicably. That's what I think.
I mean, that's a good idea. At least you guys talked about it before, having either party's mothers come over and staying with you. Mr. Muniro, I know you're married man also. Um, if should you have your mother-in-law stay with you, can you allow her to become the de facto wife? That's what happens in most homes now. Mothers-in-law have taken the role of the wives in the most homes, and now most of these wives, instead of doing the job, now delegated their job to the mothers. Would you have allowed your mother-in-law to take the role of your wife?
Uh, no, maybe temporary, as Mr. Ayo said, maybe temporary she can stay, but for permanently, I don't, because it creates some situations where if you don't um, pay attention, or you don't close, you are not be careful, you will make you create some problem issue that can be maybe destructive for your family. So if she can stay like 2 3 months 6 months, that's okay, but I will not accept to stay permanently. And if she had to take like over like cook for the family, do this, so what's the point to get her daughter as a wife, so it is, for me it doesn't make a lot of sense for her to take over everything.
Yeah, I understand because Like the reason why I say that because most mothers have pretty much taken taking the role of the wife, the child in most homes, and by so doing, the wives now become quote unquote lazy and not doing anything in the house. Michelle, listen, I understand that sometimes your wife can go to work and get tired. Um, Occasionally your mother-in-law can cook for you, right? I can understand that. But would you have allowed your mother-in-law now to become the cook of the house, where everything that needs to be cooked now becomes the role of the mother-in-law?
So, unfortunately, I think that's where I kind of draw the line for my own self. Like, because I think what happens after that is there's like a shift, right? And the traditional structure of a home, some things should be set in stone. So I don't see how a man lives with a woman and with the wife's mom, and then yes, occasionally, say you talk about a cultural person or someone that's from out of town or out of the state or out of the country, like immigrants and stuff. There may be some special dish that the mom wants to make that she's just better at making or something, but I think when it becomes a norm where it's like, I don't think I would want to do that. Where you have a mother-in-law that is just like the person that goes to the kitchen and makes food, and because then again, what you're doing is you're handing over responsibilities to that person that doesn't pay a bill in the house, that doesn't really have a say in the house. And what you're giving them is you're giving them a say. You're giving them like an opinion. And so when things happen, they can stand up and say, well, I'm a part of this union. This is what I do, and this is what I bring to this table. And then you have to sit back and say, well, okay, they actually have a point. So I think, again, it goes back to defining what the relationship is going to be when she gets to the house, defining and setting boundaries to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is not what we're going to do. But I personally won't be comfortable sitting back and say I'm married and I'm sitting back and then my mother-in-law is like in the kitchen every time, every now and then cooking. I don't think I don't think that works out that way. And again, I'm probably not a traditional African man that sits back and say, "Oh, the wife needs to be in the kitchen." I can go into the kitchen too, but if for the sake of this conversation, I don't think I'll be comfortable with that.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with you because you don't want to delegate the role of the de facto mother to your mother-in-law because de facto wife to mother-in-law, and then that negates the wife role completely. All right, I'm gonna this question is gonna be back and forth.
Yeah,
Mr.
can I add something to what Mr. Ayo said?
Yeah,
Yeah, the expectation is that when you get married, you expect your wife to be ready to take care of the family. When I take care of family, that like to be at least have a mindset that okay, this is my family, so I will take care of everything. So you expect that her, her parents give her education, like family education. So when she goes to her husband, she know what to do to raise the children. So, but if you allow mom to come and then stay completely with you, it's like something was missing from education for his daughter, So it's not good because what I think is that letting her come and they stay is like she did not assume a responsibility raising her child in such a way that she can take care of self. It's like she keep like a daughter, like keep being like a baby, or she need to let her daughter grow, grow in the society, but not that just babysitting or taking care of her like all the time. So for me, it's not a good idea to let her just stay for forever.
yeah. Mr. Adi, welcome to the show. Um,
Yeah, thank you.
all right. We are talking about mothers-in-law, and I could say this show it's about mothers-in-law. I call them mothers-in-law from hell because they've really played a role in destroying most homes and dissolving marriages. Mr. Day, I'm assuming you're married, right?
Yeah, I'm married.
Okay. Okay. If you have an issue with your wife, would you allow your mother-in-law to now become another issue or take side with your wife? And also, let me put it this way: if your mother-in-law takes side with your wife, an issue that arises between you and your wife, how would you feel about it?
Ah. So me, what I see much about breaking homes, I always blame the mother-in-laws. They contribute a lot, especially assuming that assuming that you brought your wife from Africa to this country. So when their daughter started making money and their daughter is taking care of them, they never respect you, the husband, again. So anything their daughter tells them, that's what they take. But before, when their daughter was in Africa, that time they respect you as an husband, as a son-in-law. But as soon now you brought their daughter in this country, and their daughter started taking care of them, believe me, you are nobody again. They don't respect you. You understand me? Even sometimes when their daughter is doing something and you complain to them, they don't take you serious. Eh. So that's what I see. Unless God's intervention, you have a good mother-in-law. I would
Mhm.
say you are rest assured. That's what I
All
see.
right. Okay. Thank you,
Trophy,
Mr. Ade.
trophy women.
Mr. Ayo, let's say for some reason you and your wife had issues now, and your mother-in-law come into the picture and give you a Bible to swear that whatever happened to your wife, you didn't do it. Would you have done that?
Yeah, so no, because in the first place, why do I have a mother-in-law that is the judge in my marriage? Like that's I think a lot of things that are self-inflicted and we create our own issues by ourselves. I'm one of those with the belief that if you have a home, you know, bringing third parties to your home, especially that have some kind of relationship with any of you, is kind of like that's a red flag. That's like a damage. That's problem coming. Obviously we live in 2023 now, where people rather go seek therapy or go to a therapist or a marriage counselor or something like that. I know a lot of us that are Africans or of African immigrants, descendants, don't believe in stuff like that. Just the way unfortunately, a lot of African brothers don't believe in mental health, even at this point, because of where we're from, which is fine. But again, um, I cannot be in that kind of situation where a mother-in-law, comes to me with a Bible and says, "Swear that you didn't do that to my daughter, or you didn't say that." That's just extreme. I mean, that would never happen. Because again, how did she even get that confidence or that leeway to be in that position to feel like she has the moral rights to be the judge of that case or that situation? So I would never be in that situation. I don't think anybody should be in that situation where you have your mother-in-law being, and mother-in-law, it doesn't have to be the wife's mother. It could even be the husband's mother. It could even be my mother. I would never give her that leeway. I do not care. Because again, you got to think about these things. These parents have lived their lives, right? And times are changing. I think they've lived their life. They can have advices because they've been through stuff. But again, you have to recreate your own story. You have to write your own story. You cannot go by what the mother said, or when we were younger, this is how we did it, and that's why it worked out. Unfortunately, a lot of African parents or immigrants, or let me not say African, a lot of parents that have been married for so long, I hear them say, well, we've been together for 40 years and this and this, and the reason why we're here today is because no, the reason why they are still married is because either the man is a narcissist, is just gaslighting the woman, and she, because of the cultural background or whatever she comes from, she's like, well, I can't get a divorce. I'm not going to do anything because what would everybody say? But now you're enduring emotional torture, emotional damage, and you enduring all this, even physical abuse in some cases, because you want to stay married for cultural norms and what society is going to say. And so every advice that comes from parents or mother-in-laws or father-in-laws, and they're not, that's not always the holy grail, right? That's not always the holy grail. So my idea of the structure of a home is keep things as much enclosed as possible within partners, husband and wife, or whatever the case may be. And if you think you need a third party, definitely not your mother-in-law. Definitely someone that has no affiliation with any of you. Go pay a therapist that doesn't know you from Adam, that would not be biased and that would just talk to you guys like a total stranger and actively listen and, you know, based on what you guys are saying, not based on assumption or what someone has told them or something they've pre-assumed in their mind. So, but the short answer to your question is no, I would not allow that.
Okay, I respect that a lot. The issue of respect, issue of respect is something that every man deserves when it comes to issue of marriage. And you brought it up now, Mr. Ayo. And I just want to bring up because when you stay with somebody for so long, especially the mother-in-laws, when they start to live with you, they tend to kind of disrespect you a little bit. Okay, Mr. Muniri, would you understand the fact that your mother-in-law would disrespect you for any other reason at all?
No, as the way I was raised to respect a human being, it doesn't matter what is small, big, you respect a human being because you're a human being. So look, the deal is this: the husband is a son of another woman, right? The husband is another son of another woman. And take this: if
Excuse me for a minute.
the son's mother decide to bring the same Bible to the daughter, to the wife of his son, to swear on the Bible, is it going to mark? It's not going to work, you know. So for me, if uh, my mother-in-law brings the Bible to swear, I will never do that because she's not the judge. And I met her, the daughter, we decided together to go to our family and raise the family, raise the children. So why I don't owe her anything? I don't owe anything. I owe respect, but I'll not go further to just swear on the Bible. No, no.
Thank you,
Your
Mr.
Highness,
Muniri. Yes, go ahead.
Your Highness, I have something to
Hmm.
say.
Go
You
ahead,
will
go
see
ahead.
that this woman who
Hmm.
tell the son-in-law to swear with the Bible,
Hmm.
the time the daughter was in Africa, she will never say that. She will never say that. The time the daughter was in Africa, she will never say that because the daughter have got to the United States or elsewhere. The daughter have started making money, sending money to her. That's why she's supporting the daughter. You understand me? If say
Yeah.
the daughter was still in Africa, oh, she will say, "My daughter, endure, endure." That's the way I endure with your father. Endure, endure. Men are not 100%, or just manage your husband. You understand me? But right now,
Yeah.
she see that the daughter have started making money. The daughter can do without the husband. You see, that's why he tried to judge, try to be a judge that, oh, show you the Bible, show you the Bible, you know. So what I see is that when they started making money and sending money to their parents, they try to, their parents try to, try to say, oh, our daughter have right, they try to claim some right. You understand me?
Yeah.
They try to claim some right because if that daughter was in Africa, and the husband was the one who's taking care of her, taking care of the in-laws, they will never tell you to swear with the Bible. They would never say that. They will never say that. That time they give you all your respect as an
Yeah.
husband. They give you all your respect. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
the way I see it.
That
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Ade. I think that's a valid point. Mr. Ayo. Now, what Ade said is, I want you to expand on that because when you look at most homes now where these mothers-in-laws are staying, especially the mothers, the wife's mother, okay, the usual finances become a primary role there. Okay, when you see a mother-in-law disrespect the husband, is because most time and often the husband is now living up to the financial responsibility in the house. Am I right? So now, in this situation, do you think that is one of the reasons why most of these mother-in-laws start to kind of like gain control of the house when they see their child becoming the breadwinner of the house?
Yeah, so again, we can look at this from two different angles. Obviously, everyone in this chat is somehow African, if I'm thinking, if I'm gonna guess. And so we are discussing from like an immigrant standpoint, right? From
Mhm.
scenarios that we see every time, like some guy goes to Africa and bring a woman here, or goes to wherever and bring a woman here, and so the family knows you're the breadwinner, you take care of your in-laws, just like we do when you marry in Africa, when you marry into a family, most times we know the responsibilities go beyond just your wife, which is fine. But I always like to play devil's advocate and flip the switch here. What if the woman is actually the one that is financially free? What if the woman is the one that is actually with the money, right? Because again, I could work in tech, or I could be a medical doctor and I make $500,000 a year. And what if I married someone that makes $1 million a year? I think that's one bondage that we as Africans need to break, because again, once we start putting the money factor and the price tag around everything that we do and decision that we make, then that means if you start a relationship with money, and once that money goes, that means you don't even have the confidence to keep that away. That means the old
Mhm.
factor that was holding you, or that was making you the man you are, is the money. So once we take the money out of the equation, you're not the one man enough to handle situations in your home. So going back to the question, yes, we know that's a problem. As a man, we're raised to be like the breadwinner, the provider, to take care of stuff. But things happen, right? And in the beginning, when you get into those situations and you run into that kind of fix, yes, human nature is just like, apart, even outside of marriage, even with friends, when your friends call you on Monday and say, "Hey, I need $2,000," or we go out, no, not $2,000. You have a group of friends and you go out to the bar every other Friday, right? And this Friday you guys go out, and then it's like the tab is like $1,000, and they say, "Oh, it's 10 of us. Let's split it under $100." The first week you say, "Oh, I don't have it." The second week, "I don't have it." I promise you, I guarantee by the third week, nobody's going to call your phone to join them anymore,
Mhm.
right? Because things are going to change. And that's just human nature. That's so you can say the same thing for the woman in the house and stuff. Once, I think Chris Rock said something one time that only women and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is always loved for what he brings to the table. It's unfair, but it's the truth. And that's just the world we have to live in. If you want to be a man, you have to figure out you have to be a provider. And once you stop providing, at that point, you just have to pray to God that you have a partner that would understand, that would wait for the rainy days and sunshine to come back, right? But again, if you have this kind of mother-in-law that you're talking about, maybe this is the time to let her out of the house, because again, that's facing two aggravated people in the house. That's, you have to deal with the wife be mad at you. Now you have to your mother-in-law be mad at you because she thinks she cannot provide for a daughter and her. So that's just a setup for failure. So
Yeah,
I think when you run into those kind of situations, it's always best to have communications. As far as, again, a lot of relationships are not open about finances, right? People still don't believe in joint accounts or joint finances or whatever. Sometimes you have to be honest with your finances, because if you don't set the right expectation, your mother-in-law probably thinks you make 200K a year and you're just making 60K a year. So if you don't make things clear with your own wife, and then she's portraying this image, the expectation is just going to be ridiculous. And so,
yeah,
people need to start understanding, like, you have to
yeah.
set boundaries and understand your finances with your partners and family.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot, Mr. Ayo. Yeah, I mean, the key point there is just that we just have to be expressive to our partners. But the issue that I always find difficult with our mothers-in-law is that these same mothers-in-law, but they're the same one that stay with their fathers, their husbands, when things were rough, when things were tight, when things were not really going okay, but they still stay with their husbands. But then they will come to the diaspora, and they will now become the one advocating for their child to leave just because the man is not being a good provider anymore. Mr. Munir, have
Yes.
you what do you see about this double standard these are mothers law kind of project to us?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We live in different generations, different situation. Where before the marriage is like something like sacrosanct, right? That's just say it's like you don't have to leave your husband. But now marriage become like easily to just move away. It doesn't work. Just move away, move away. Look, we have a situation where a mother ask her daughter to just leave the man, leave the man. Why? Because they have issues. And every single family has domestic issue. It's not just the first family. You can one day. It doesn't matter how long you're gonna take, but one day you and your wife, you're gonna have some issues. You solve the issues. You sit down. So if it doesn't work, you can involve some parent to solve the issue. But I never see it's here in this country. I saw a woman advocating for her daughter to leave the husband. I can't believe that. After all this boy did for her, they came to a situation where the boy and the daughter, they don't. It's kind of a problem that can be solved. But we went there, we sit down, we talked with the mother. She said what she said, what she said. The daughter will never go back, never go back. But she didn't take account what the boy did for her. She didn't take account how these two people met. They met. She was not there when they met together. When they decided to go to live together, and for some reason, he say, "No, no, no more, no more, no more. Just leave, 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 leave." They even try to solve the problem. So this situation just make me a little mad. The way I was seeing that woman is not the way I was seeing her now. Situation. It's not. It's just change my mind. You know, because I usually see her like a model, but for this problem she didn't solve correctly, it just blew my mind. And then I say, no, what kind of woman is that? What kind of woman
Can
is
I
that?
can I can I can I respond to that, please?
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah,
Ayo, you can go ahead.
yeah,
So, I
um,
like that point you brought up, right? Although this is just one scenario, right, out of so many different issues that probably happen. So I'm not an advocate for divorce, but I'm also not an advocate for emotional damage and emotional torture. Like Israel Majesty said, oh, this women have they probably stay in in Africa or in other places with their husbands for 40 years and they don't get divorced. Yes, that's because of the community that we live in. That's because of the community and the society that we live in back then. I mean, I think we're all smart enough to realize that there's a lot of pretense that was going on back then because of our society. A lot of things that are culturally inclined from where we come from. A lot of these things don't make no sense in this 21st century. I mean, if I have a daughter, do I want my daughter to go and marry someone that's going to like abuse her emotionally or physically? Do I want her to be with a man that just goes out and comes home and thinks his wife is a slave? No, I do not want that, right? So I don't know what the situation of this particular relationship you're talking about is, but I'm sure they have their reasons. And if, like you said, it might be something they could have solved, which is fine. It might be something that's just beyond, fixed. But what I say is, I think we need to start moving past the fact that people have reasons for what they do. And that all,
Uh,
if you
uh,
want to be Christian
one,
and say, if you want to be Christian and say, the Bible says we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that. Like again, I'm not an advocate for divorce, but again, I think people should not stay in things that is not fruitful or is not yielding results for them.
yeah, yeah. You're right, Mr. Ade,
uh,
Mr. Ayo.
uh,
Listen, nobody supports. Excuse me. Nobody supports any abusive relationship, whether physical and emotional abuse. But let's stay within the context of this topic today. The fact that the roles that mothers-in-law are playing in these marriages. Okay, I mean, before the mothers-in-law came to the picture, this couple were living their lives, a peaceful life. Okay, but then they came into the picture, and the whole thing just become a disaster. So now we're not the issue of emotional abuse and all can still come to the picture eventually, but we are really well, the primary factor here is the issue the mothers are playing. I mean, and vis-a-vis mothers of the husband and the wife. So, Mr. Ade, this is my question to you, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
you know, well, Mr. Ayo just mentioned something about abusive relationship, which I don't condone at all.
Mm-hmm.
But how would you feel
Mm-hmm.
when if you have married to your wife for say 10, 15 years, not even one abuse, one not even on emotional abuse. But one incident happened and she uses that with the support of her mom to say, I'm out of here. You know, what do you how do you handle that kind of situation when a mother-in-law who's supposed to be the arbiter
Peace,
of truth
peacemaker.
comes in and said, okay, because your husband did this to you in 10 years to 20 years, you're out of here. Mr. Adi, what do you think about
According to what I hear, or according to what you say,
that?
it's about finances. Like my brother said, it's about finances. Believe me, they are. The lady have also started making money. Trust me, woman. If she hasn't started making money, believe me, she will not go. She will not go. She will stay. No matter how you do, she will stay. But she has also started making money. She know if she leave, she can take care of herself. She can take care of the children by herself. You understand me?
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah.
If they see that, women, when they see that, oh, the husband make more money, the husband make a lot of money, they will not go. They will stay. No matter how they will stay. You see? And according to what happened is that we that we are from Africa, if we want our marriage to stand, they are married to work. If the mother-in-law support the daughter all the time, believe in the marriage will break. African man need respect. African man, we need respect. We don't need love. African man don't need love. We just need respect. If you don't respect African man, believe me, the marriage will not work. As a mother-in-law, if you don't respect your daughter, husband, you don't respect, you don't respect him, believe me, the marriage will not work. See, like our mother, when they have misunderstanding with our father, still our grandmother, they know that the mistake comes from our father, but they will say, oh, my in-law, they will pet the man. Oh, my in-law, I'm pleading on the behalf of my daughter. But if you say, oh, you are at fault, you my son-in-law, you're at fault, and you try to blame the husband, believe me, the marriage will not work. The marriage will not work. If you say we want to do it like the Western world, the way they do their own things, believe me, no marriage will work in Africa. No marriage will work in Africa because our belief is that African belief is that the man is the head of the family. Eh? Even in Yoruba land, they say the man is like a crown. It's like a crown on the woman's head. You see? Yeah. So if you said you want to bring the man down, believe me, the marriage will never work. It will never work.
Yeah.
Eh.
Okay.
So African men, we need respect. We need respect. We don't we
Period.
don't need love. Forget about love. Yeah, love. We just need respect. Yeah,
Well, Mr. Thank
like
you, Mr. Thank
Yoruba
you.
woman who said, "Olowo ori mi, ori mi." My lord. You know, that's the way African woman addresses husband. My lord. You see,
Mhm.
but if you say
Yeah.
equal, oh, we are equal. We never equal.
Mm.
We never equal. A man and a woman is never equal. We are not equal. You understand me? Even
Yeah.
if the woman is richer, if the woman is richer than the husband, if the woman is richer than the husband, they are not still equal. You know, a
Mhm.
man will be a man. Eh.
Mhm. All right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Adi. I appreciate the time. Mr. Ayo, Mr. Adi brought up a point I wanted to kind of like, talk about. Do you think these mothers-in-law that we call mothers-in-law from hell, do you think they would have supported the idea of them or their wife, their daughters leaving their spouses if this man has money? who has finances right?
I mean, let me start by saying, I mean, we're talking as if we don't see people that are worth millions and billions of dollars get divorced. People get divorced every day.
But
So,
in our culture, in our
okay,
own
okay,
culture now,
so
in
we
our
have
own
to be very
culture, we're not
specific
talking
with
about
our own
the white
culture.
man culture now.
Yeah, but even in our culture, I mean, obviously, years ago it wasn't a normal thing. But guess what? I mean, you all can testify to it now. Even in Africa, even in Nigeria, where I'm from, every day you go on the internet, you see this person has divorced this person has divorced this person, and people say, "Oh my God." They started getting or learning the white man culture, but they live in Nigeria. No, they're not learning the white man culture. A lot of people are getting liberated. One thing about human beings is when you notice you have options, then you start thinking different. When you are enclosed and this is all you know, and you can start when we take advantage. Human beings, we can take advantage of each other. A woman can take advantage of a man can take advantage of a woman. If you don't know better, I have a friend here, unfortunately, right in the States, African, is married to an African too, but she's from somewhere else. And I mean, I've seen men I've seen men be crazy, like, controlling because I'm African. I haven't seen this height of being controlling. Like, this is 2023 and you still have men that says, I don't want my wife to work because I want her to be a stay-at-home mom, which is fine. But the thing about it is that doesn't mean you're married to a slave. That doesn't mean it should be a partnership. So again, if you have money, right, and yes, most people will stay for the money because that's the way the world works. But trust and believe, at some point, you know, I don't think it even feels right for you as a man to think every day that the reason why this woman is still here today with all the things I'm doing is
For
because of my
money.
money. Like, how do you even sleep at night? Because guess what? There's a man out there that has more money than you. There's always going to be someone out there that has more money than you. So if you think that way, then already that home has been broken. You guys are just living in the house as roommates. You guys just call yourself husband and wife. If that's your mentality, like, well, I mean, because this is my friend, I'm talking about things. Like, well, I'm the guy that's bringing all the money in, so where's she gonna go? She can't do anything. No,
Mm.
because the money is just, yes, the money is very, very important. But guess what? That money can also go. And so think about it. If you think you got the money and you think of your spouse, there's a man out there that has way more money than you. And anything can happen. So again, like from the African perspective, African view, yes, we know once you stop being a provider, things can change a little bit, which is unfortunate, but that's the way the world works. That's not even an
Mm,
African thing. That's the way the world works. If you cannot
yeah.
provide anymore, things are just going to be different. People don't respect you the way they should respect you anymore. People don't talk to you. People talk to you based on what they can get from you. That's how human nature works. Once you're not adding any value to people, they don't give a damn what you say or who you are. And
Okay.
that's why even with age and stuff, you can see like a 20-year-old guy in a family that have 50-year-olds and they have family meetings. If it's the 20-year-old guy is the one with the money, trust me, the 50-year-old will have to wait for him to come before they start the meeting. That's
Yeah.
just the way the world
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. 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 Thank you, Mister. Thank you, Mister. I mean, that's a valid point, and I also, Mister Muniru.
Yeah.
Well, this is a question for you now. Say you and your wife are alone now, okay, and you're having to talk about who's going to come to stay with you, your mother or her mother, okay? Who do you think would be a better choice among the two of you?
This is that tough question because it could be either way. Uh, hmm. I don't want to be too selfish.
Hmm.
I will like
And
I
tell
will
me why. Tell me whatever it is you choose. You have to tell me why, though. Tell
yeah,
me why.
yeah. I will like my mother-in-law to come, as I said at the beginning,
Mm.
for a certain period, not forever, right? Not for forever. To come and then see how her daughter is dealing with a family, because I assume that uh, the daughter has been educated in a way that she knows how to take care of her children and her husband. Okay, so but when she comes, I don't want to have a conflict. I don't want to have a conflict between her and her daughter or her and me. We want to have some kind of harmony in the house. That's my point. But if I say, okay, I want to choose my mother to come, it's too selfish. It's too selfish because if putting the shoes on her, if she take my place, she will say, no, no, I want my mother to come. So I will say, okay, your mother comes, see what you're doing, how you are doing, and then when she comes, she can say, oh, my son-in-law. Okay, I need this, I need that. What about you do this? What about you do that? Okay, that I get. That's just okay. It's gonna be okay. But usually what happened? And as an example, my mother-in-law came, and then there's like a fire in the house. I'm telling you, it's like fire in the house. Every single time she fights with her daughter, her own daughter. I'm serious. It's like a fire every
Yeah.
single day
Mm.
until 6 months, and then she left. So, and then she found herself some kind of breaks, some common issue with her daughter, and then she said, okay, she's gonna fix it. She's gonna fix them. It's okay. But
Yeah.
if I had to bring my mother here, she's not there. If she's here to live with us, she's gonna find more breaks, and then she will say, no, 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 my son, this woman is not a good choice. But I don't want to take that, because it's me, it's me. I decide on my own. I don't. So that's what I can say.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Muniru. Mr. Ade, this is for you, okay? Um,
Yeah.
Now,
Mm.
Mr. Muniru just mentioned the fact that if he has a choice, he would rather have his wife's mother come and visit them. But I've had cases where mothers and daughters have agendas, okay, that they don't tell the husband what they had in mind, what the plan was. Okay, so
Yeah.
you just agree to the mother coming, but the mother is not coming to stay for 2 weeks. The mother is coming to stay for years, but they won't tell you that. Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen cases like that. People that the mothers was supposed to come for months, and before you know it, she's there for years. She's applying for green card and all that kind of stuff. Mr. Ade, if that's
Mm.
your case, how
Your
would you
Highness,
handle that?
Your Highness, Yoruba
Yes.
people used to say, they say, two friends are friends. Two friends are friends. Three friends, they are not friends. You know? So what I mean is that if two people, three people are friends, you know,
Mm,
there will be two people that will be very tight. The two people will be very tight, and
mhm,
they'll be gossiping about the third person.
mm, mm,
What I mean is that if you don't have good mother-in-law, if if you don't have good mother-in-law, and your mother-in-law come to stay with you and your wife for a year, believe me, there will be confusion. There will be very, very confusion, because what happens is that at your back, you know, they will start talking about you, saying,
Gossiping.
they will, a lot of things, bad thing about you. You know what? Sometimes there are some women, what they will tell their mom about you. Believe me, even they will not buy you $1. If they want to sell you $1, nobody will buy you. You know, any little mistake is going to tell the mother. Any little thing is going to tell the mother. You end up all the respect that you lose all the respect from your mother-in-law. You see, so it's only two people that are good friends. Only two people that are good friends. When three people are saying they are friends, believe me, there will be gossiping. There will be gossiping between the three people. So me, what I see is that a mother-in-law, what are you going to do for a year? You are coming to visit your daughter for a year. It's too much. No, it's too much. For me, I will not accept it. I can let you come and visit your daughter, but you mean for a year, I will not accept it. Highest should be 6 months. Highest should be 6 months. And you go back to your husband's house. You also have your husband. Go and stay with your husband.
Mhm.
Eh? Let your daughter to enjoy his marriage. You know. So me that's what I see. Eh.
Yeah,
Because the 1 year will be 2 years. The 2 years will be 3 years. You understand me? So that's what I see. My mother-in-law, highest you can come and stay with her in 6 months. Highest in 6 months. Eh.
well, that's a man with a
So
lot of
your highness,
principle, but you know.
that's
Well, I mean, I don't. I mean, also, I agree with you that sometimes the longer your mother-in-law, your other party stays in your house, the more friction you start to brew in your house because three is a company, and when you have a company like that, somebody's going to be unhappy about the whole situation.
so your
Mister, we're
highness,
going to.
your highness, even a responsible mother-in-law will not say it's come to stay for a year in a daughter husband house. You understand me? A responsible. Yoruba people, we call ourselves Omaluabi. Omaluabi. Ah, which mother-in-law which is Omaluabi that will come and stay in a daughter home for a year? It's a very shameful in Yoruba land. Very, very shameful in Yoruba land.
Yeah, yeah. You use the word responsible, and if you remember from the moment we started this program, I said these mothers and mothers love from help because if you decide to come and stay with your child and you stay longer than necessary, you become a problem of the house. I mean, it's not for have an husband and wife have their own issues, but when you now interject your own problem into their issues, then becomes a bigger problem. So we're going to be coming to a conclusion on the show now, Mister Ayo. I You've had what we talked about. Say you wanted to have your mother-in-law come over and stay with you. Would you give her a stipulation time period to say you can't be here much longer than a year or whatever time? Do you have a stipulation time for that? Mr. Ayo, you have to mute yourself.
Yeah, me too, sir. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, I think I agree with Mr. Ade. I think when things start getting out of hand, I mean, like every other human being, like you see, it's even like husband and wives. I remember when the pandemic started and people started reporting a lot of domestic violence and divorce and fights and stuff because people started seeing each other too much, right? During the pandemic, when everybody started working remote, even you and your wife is like, normally people wake up in the morning and go to work and they don't see their partners till nighttime. But during the pandemic, like you see each other too much, you just start fighting for no reason. So imagine if you and your wife can do that. Now imagine you have one more person that you have to deal with in the house and see each other every day. So I think the key to that is from the onset, from the beginning. That's why I say communication is key. You should be able to define and say, okay, this person is going to be here for X, Y, Z. And I think 6 months, and after 6 months, you're pushing it. But also, we have to remember we live in America where some parents or some families actually need that support for like childcare and all these things. So some people actually crave for these things. Some people are dying to have these things that we're talking about at the expense of whatever we can think about it. Now they may get later and start considering that, oh my God, maybe I wanted her so she can help us with kids, but now we have more problems. So again, these situations are like individual, like you got to address them separately. But in general, I think if everything is fine in the house and everything, I think 6 months is cool, and anything after that is going to be pushing it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Mr. Ayo. Mr. Munir, I want to take a final note on this. How long would you allow your mother-in-law to come stay with you?
No, I did it before. It was 6 months. He said
Okay.
6 months, no longer than that. And if as Mr. Ayo say, if you want to talk about child care or this, uh, the best way to provide a good education for to have a child when it starts school is not to be with grandma. Now, if the child is with grandma, financially maybe it's okay for the family, but educationally it doesn't work because the child need to be exposed to the situation where they're gonna live, like bringing them to the daycare when they're gonna start learning the arithmetic ABCD, all this. But if grandma will just take don't do this, don't do that, but it doesn't expose the child to what we will face when you go to school. You know,
Okay.
so 6 months, 6 months is okay.
All right. Mr. Ade, all right, this is your final
Yeah,
take.
it's a,
Now you've had Mr. Ayo and Mr. Manu talk about the time factor, but we also have to also to understand that when we consider the issue of childcare and all that kind of stuff, would you would you sacrifice the issue of childcare for time, or would you not just don't care about the childcare at the time?
when you came when you come in for 6 months, 6 months is enough to take care of your granddaughter, your grandson or your granddaughter. For 6 months is enough. You leave it to your daughter. You know, if it's getting more than 6 months, it's something else. You know, it's something else. Even if that woman still that that mother-in-law still have husband, you need to go and take care of your husband and leave your daughter alone with her husband. So yeah, yeah. Anybody, any mother-in-law who is more, like I said, you know,
Responsible,
who is
responsible,
who
responsible.
is responsible. You understand me? I think he will not stay in a daughter husband house for 6 months and leave his own husband. Ah, come on. What is shameful is shameful. Eh, what is shameful is shameful. If
That's-
you
all
don't
right.
if you don't, even at home, in Africa, they're gonna, when they ask that, oh, where's your they ask your
Mother.
father-in-law, where's your mother-in-law, eh? And they will say, oh, he went to America to take care of the grandson. And this woman, this man to need somebody to cook for him, like Africa. It's not like Western world here. A woman have to cook for the husband. So you have come and stay here with your daughter, and your husband will be going outside to go and buy food at the what Yoruba people call the buka, the local restaurants. Eh? And your husband will take a what do you call it? This thing to buka to go and buy amala. Ah, no, 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 no. That's not. It's not too good. You leave your
Yeah.
husband, you leave your daughter and the husband to live their own life. When they need you, they will still call you again. When they need you, they will still call you again. But it should not be more than 6 months. That's what I see.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
All right, guys. I really thank you for your time this morning. It's really well deserved, and I really appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again. But finally, this is my take on the whole issue.
Uh, you,
What? Good.
can I
Yeah.
add something before you close?
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, Mr. King, what happens sometimes in our culture is that some women, they want their daughters to go in a certain way to get married to this kind of people or this kind of people. And when they don't get that, they're gonna give a hard time to the choosing husband. Like for example, some women want to say, okay, I would like my daughter to marry a white man, and then because love doesn't have a border, love doesn't have a color, the daughter will follow maybe some another path, and mother doesn't like that. So they can try to create some situation where the marriage can break down, and that's the good advantage of that. And then they said, okay, okay, yeah, just leave, because at the beginning she didn't really that marriage. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yes. Look, we can stay on this topic for a
Never.
whole day, and we'll never get done with it. It's a very unique topic. I think I'm gonna bring it back this topic some other day or some other time. But what I really want to say is this: I know some of the ladies watching our program this morning. Some of you might disagree with what we say. If you disagree with what we have talked about this morning, you can always reach out to me at 301-613-6478, and we're glad to have you and to make your point. Like I said, one more time, guys, I really appreciate your time coming to this program, and I look forward to seeing you all back again and talk about some other topic. And I hope you guys will be back with us, right?
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks to Mr. Ayo. Thank
Yeah,
you very
thank you,
much.
thank you,
Mr.
thank you,
Munir,
and
once again, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
Mr. Ade, thank you very much. You have a blessed day, guys.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
Yeah.
thank you, thank you.